Hey everyone, how are you guys doing? Hopefully your day went much better than mine. It's been a crazy day, but doesn't matter, right? Welcome to Learn to Write Sci-Fi. My name is Rick Graham, author of the Revelations Sci-Fi universe. My job here in these videos is to, help you become a published author just like me. And the route that we're taking is through being self-published. And I know some people kind of scoff at that and everything, but look, if you want to get started, it is absolutely one of the best ways to get going. So we've been going through this 30-day challenge. We are on episode 11 of 30, and we've been talking a lot about plot and outline. So if you don't have a story yet, go back and watch some of those older videos. They will really help you kind of get going, get started, and it's foundational stuff. So I'm trying to take everybody through a actual process. So today we're going to be kind of finishing up the outline and then, hitting it with a good closing. And then tomorrow we're going to start getting into page formats, fonts that I like, and then kind of going from there into the actual writing process. So right now what we've been doing is kind of just fundamentally setting up the universe, fundamentally setting up the characters and the story. Today we're going to finish out the plot. All right, so hopefully you have a fantastic idea that you've been working hard on and you're getting to the end, or you've already finished. But for those of you who are maybe stuck with the closing, I'll just give you guys some pointers as to how I do it, right? So I've written several short stories for Revelation specifically, and I've had different stories where the main character was victorious. I've had it where the main character failed in their goal. Because remember, even though you're telling a short story, every main character has some sort of agenda, some sort of goal that should be accomplished or failed in that tiny little short story. And I say tiny, I mean, it's still like 50 pages, but 30 to 50. But you're still finishing it all up together. Now, they may have, other big life goals, maybe other stories that they can be in later in your universe. But for right now, you need to figure out, are they going to succeed? Are they going to fail? Is it going to end on a cliffhanger? Now, if I were you, I would probably try not to end on a cliffhanger. That doesn't mean that, they live happily ever after or anything like that. But I mean, where basically, you're in the action. The reader's really getting into it. They're really entertained. They're really just, absorbing and soaking in all of the words. And they're feeling like they're really in it or really watching it happen. And then it's over. But there was no resolution. For myself, this is totally just Rick Graham. Take it from what you will. I cannot stand endings of anything. Movies, video games, stories, where the ending is not clear. Now, sometimes things end on a cliffhanger, and that's just sort of like as a build-up. Like the story was still resolved for the moment, but you can tell obviously there's going to be a part 2 or a part 3 or, a next installment. What I can't stand are the stories that end and they're done, never to be any more, and you never know completely what happened. That to me is a really cheap trick by authors or movie makers, where it feels to me as the viewer, as the audience, is that they just maybe didn't know how to end it. So instead of ending it, they kind of leave it up to the reader, and they can say, oh, I'm going to let the reader decide. I personally can't stand that. It makes my skin crawl. It makes me angry because I want to know, what did the writer envision for this character? Even if I don't like it, even when I've seen bad endings, I would still take a bad ending over no ending. So for my advice for you guys, if you're really struggling with the ending, you're really trying to figure out whatever the closing scene is for your story, try to have some sort of resolution. Remember, if this is if you're really going to be serious about writing, you can write so many short stories through your writing career. So many. Make this first one, though, easier on yourself. Really try to finish it. And remember, if you don't have an audience and you don't have readers, you're just writing for a hobby. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're looking to try to make money from this, even if not maybe millions and trillions of dollars, but maybe a couple thousand, enough to maybe be like side work, where you could turn your hobby into some extra money that maybe you can pay down some debt or go on vacation or get something nice for yourself or your spouse or your kids, but you just need a little bit of extra money. think about writing as a business. Doesn't mean milk it, doesn't mean just write whatever just so that it can sell a couple hundred copies. But, when it comes to endings, my advice, end in a way that the reader feels satisfied, that at least the majority or the whole real part of that particular story is concluded. It doesn't mean that there may not be more. I've ended one story in particular. I don't want to completely spoil it. The team of people discovered that somebody was important. They dealt with that person. So obviously that meant that, the government was going to be after the crew. And so they decided, well, we're just going to go back to where we got to go. But the story still felt like, to me, as the writer anyway, that story was still over. We completely told that story. Everything in that incident was wrapped up, and they left. There obviously is room for a part 2, or, a later down the road kind of story where the government did catch up to them, or something like that. That would be great, But in the meantime, the story feels sealed, feels concluded. And that's what you got to get for your readers, to me, my opinion. All right. So tomorrow we are going to start getting into formatting for your pages, so that way you can actually start putting some words to digital paper, right? We start using that keyboard. Alrighty. So I'm excited about that because, that means we're kind of at the episode 12. So we're not quite halfway. We're getting really close to halfway, and I'm really excited to see how this is going to keep forming out. So anyway, if you guys have any comments or questions, please leave those down below. If you'd like to follow us on Facebook, it is Learn to Write Sci-Fi. You can like our page there. And if you'd like to follow us on YouTube and subscribe, it is White Light Media. Thank you guys very much. I'll see you guys all again tomorrow, hopefully for a less chaotic day. All right, guys. See you guys.